In August 2023, we saw an appeal for beneficiaries come forward in the estate of Steven Todd, who died at home in Boston on the 8th of July 2023. Having been purchased in 1987 in a poor condition, barely any work had taken place over the many years that followed.
He bought it just as it stood, just like that. I mean, this has been up here years, you know, and it's been like dead like years, you know.
Yeah, I got the feeling he was a quiet sort of person.
It didn't mix a lot.
Didn't mix a lot.
Fraser and Fraser, together with our clearance contractors, Yorkshire Clearance, are now tasked with preparing the property for sale, emptying its contents, and in the hope of finding further family information for Mr. Todd's beneficiaries. Boston Local Authority have come and asked us specifically to try and help find beneficiaries to Steven Todd, as he was being found at home and there are no known family.
Andrew, Steven Todd, so
Yep.
I've managed to get hold of a coroner's report. It's not a pleasant read, but...
Sit down, what do we know?
I think, well, basically we know that he died at the property, we already know that. Unfortunately, when the police found him at the property, he was skeletonized. There wasn't much in terms of identification.
I don't normally get to see these, but this one's particularly harsh. I say harsh, factual.
Very factual, very factual.
I'm just looking at line 53. He appeared in July 23, he'd been arrested in Boston. And
Do you think I should arrange for Ben to do a biohazard clean?
I don't think he can actually, having seen the photos initially, I don't think he can do anything practical. He just needs to be aware that there are biohazard issues there.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons for meeting him, because I think this is going to be one of the top list of difficult properties we've had.
Yeah, okay, I'll get straight onto that.
Hello, hi Ben, it's Claire from Fraser and Fraser. I have a new property for you. The property is in Boston, in Lincolnshire, and Andrew would like to meet you at the property next week, if at all possible. Then if you could just reply back to me and just let me know what date's convenient for you. I do believe that the deceased died in the property. So make sure that you've got all your proper protection equipment with you when you go into the property.
We've learned through the post-mortem coroner's report that Mr. Todd was found at home after police made inquiries following one of his motorbikes being stopped on Boston High Street. They came here at one Saturday night, found everything to be very dark, and came back on a Sunday morning, only to discover Mr. Todd sat at a desk in his front room.
This is his front room, but he was sleeping in here. His bed was over here, but you couldn't really get to his bed. It were this high, full of clothes and rubbish. It's in a very bad condition. Why is it? Because he's filled it and spoilt it basically, and he's put too much things in it. We try and sort as much as we can. If it is just a little job, we normally take it back to our warehouse and then it gets divided up. When it's big like this, we can do it by the van. So we'll get a van of paper, a van of metal, a van of wood, and a van of general. So we can do it from the house. So it's going to be a lot of time, a lot of rubbish, a lot of waste, but no, we'll get it looking good hopefully. We need to find some bank accounts and some deeds. That's what we need to find. A solicitor's letter would be good. This could be interesting. This looks like when he's purchased the property.
Might only be the details. It's not the solicitor's letter, so it's not quite there.
No.
But what we do know is the solicitors bought the property for £16,000 and we got a date of 1987. We go to the property several times throughout this administration process. To start with, and throughout the clearance process, we are looking for, fundamentally, a will, because that will take precedent over anything we do about intestacies. We're then looking for both assets and liabilities. But what we're looking for, the photos, the information that we need and what the beneficiaries want to know about someone they may not have ever met.
We received the case of Steven Todd from Boston Council. They gave us his name, his date of birth, date of death and his address. From his address, we found that he owned his property, and when we looked to see who he'd lived with, we saw an Irene Todd come up on the address, who turned out to be his mother. We had the father's name, Norman Todd, and the mother was Irene Hillam, was her maiden name. And from there, we looked on the paternal side, so Norman Todd. He had one brother, Arthur, who passed away, leaving 2 children. And on the maternal side of Irene, she was one of 7. Lawrence, who passed away, leaving 5 children. Winifred, John, who passed away, minor. Ronald, who'd also passed away, leaving 5 children. Then we have Grace, who has a daughter, Gillian, who we've met, and another sister called Jean.
So in this matter, there are 16 beneficiaries. One of Stephen's aunts, Grace, had already sent flowers to the house, and we've actually had the opportunity of meeting her daughter at the property.
I've managed to get through. There was where there were bikes at the back, where the kitchen is. Then I came through to this room, and there was a wardrobe. Now that's as far as I went. So then later on, the door were open, so I managed to get up the steps. This floor's come down, and this floor's still on. But I didn't go on any floors, because I just stood at the top.
I'm up here because I've got Ben here trying to clear the stuff, the house, to find out what we've got, because we had very little paperwork from original.
Yes.
And it's only through clearing bits we've come up with other bits of paper. Yesterday they found a sale memorandum when he bought this house in 86, I recall.
He bought it off of his auntie. Yeah.
Yes, and it was looking like this with their ivy on it at that time.
Right.
So it hasn't just appeared in his lifetime.
Right, it's always been like this, Mum.
But he spoke to no one. According to
No, he didn't. He was a loner.
He spoke to the neighbour next door.
Yes.
They said in the 23 years they've been here, they've only spoken to him 3 or 4 times in 23, 24 years.
Yeah, yeah.
I interacted with him a little bit because he was doing his house up and I was doing a bit to this place at the same time. Like.
You've seen this house deteriorate over the years?
Yeah. I'm 70-year-old, you see, so I've seen it since I was like 16, 17.
So in 1986 is when Steven Todd bought the house.
Yeah.
How was it then?
It's about the same as it is now.
With the ivy all over it?
Yeah, all grown up.
And he just continued to live here?
Yeah.
I bet he were in this room because he used to use this room. Or were it that room? Because the neighbour used to see his light on in that room with his computers.
Well, yes, but that neighbour says there was virtually no other lights ever on.
No, there wasn't, no.
I've only said good morning to him a few times or hello to him, but normally he didn't really reply. It was only when he was passing by on the road, and he used to have a moped and like a box on the back, and he used to have bits of computers and laptops in it.
Yeah, I got the feeling he was a quiet sort of
man
person.
who didn't mix a lot.
Didn't mix a lot.
You didn't really get a chance to know him as a person.
And he was well educated, with what we've heard.
Yeah.
That he had a private education, and he was I knew he was into computers and that sort of thing. He was a bit of a computer whiz kid, by all accounts.
He bought it just as it stood, just like that. I mean, this has been up here years, you know, and it's been like dead like years, you know.
Well, you'd recognise him because he grew his hair long and he used to have it in a ponytail.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
That's how you'd know it was him.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Oh, is that what it looks like?
Well-
They said it looked like Wurzel Gummidge. Wait a minute, I'll just take a photo.
This is the only
Just take a
photo we've got so far.
I said it about his bike. My goodness, no, I wouldn't have recognised him at all.
Or it could be that one, but we don't. Again,
They're both similar, aren't they?
these are pictures we found in the house. We've got no idea.
I wouldn't have recognised him. Mind you, after saying that. No.
Everyone tells us the same story. He was very much a loner. He was a recluse, very rarely went out of his house, although we do know when he first moved to Boston, he was involved with computers. He had a computer shop, and since that time, he is disappeared.
Having a choice of living here and living in his mum's house.
Yeah.
You know, because my auntie and uncle, they've worked all their lives, like my mum and dad, and they weren't short of money, so they were always buying property up and down country. They lived in Australia, they lived everywhere. So you'd have thought he'd have moved down there, but obviously we were quite happy living like this.
Yeah.
So my role is now to maximise the value of the estate. We need to sell for the maximum possible value. Unfortunately, it's not going to plan because it is unregistered land. Ben has extracted huge amounts of paper, but there were not the title deeds. Stephen purchased his property in February in 1987. First registration in Lincolnshire did not occur until December 1987, and therefore there was a tendency not to register properties at land registry because of the fee involved. We just hope that property prices will increase rather than decrease whilst we're waiting for first registration to occur. What is really quite harrowing to think about, if his motorbike hadn't been stolen and the police hadn't decided to stop these people on Boston High Street, it is unknown as to when Stephen would have been found.
Seeing a house like this now, it doesn't shock me as much as it used to do. Obviously, before, when you first start doing them, it's a real shock, but now we go to nearly one a week. Today we're on with the kitchen. It's not a normal kitchen, otherwise we'd have done that in the morning. We've already got a lot out. We've got a van and a half out of the kitchen already. Our plan, hopefully, is to get this all cleared today. Also, this, unfortunately, looks like it's going to come down at some point, so we'll have to be careful of that. But we'll work slow and we'll hopefully get it done. It makes me wonder why, because we see the people, sometimes they have hundreds of thousands of pounds in bank accounts. Why is it sat there? Why not use it and enjoy it in their life? Obviously, they're not here to answer that question, but that's... Is it sad? Yeah, it is sad that they've saved up for nothing, really. They haven't spent it, they haven't enjoyed it.
It was just for my mum, peace of mind, putting pieces together and seeing the state of the house and how we lived. It were out-rendering, really, you know what I mean? And for us all.
After a detailed search of the contents, it is disappointing to report that the deeds to the property have not been found. It's going to be at least 16 months before we're in a position to sell the property. Whilst the beneficiaries to Mr. Todd's estate will need to wait for their inheritance, they do have the benefit of knowing how he's been living over the last 40 years.
Next on Lineage.
Today we're in a little hamlet outside of Boston at the home of Geoffrey Birchnell. This is where he used to live in his family home. We're looking to see how we're going to describe this property in an auction sale.
My relationship with Fraser and Fraser has been absolutely fundamental to this company's growth. The house that we're offering today is an amazing auction lot. It's a completely unmodernised building in a fairly rural location up in Boston and Lincolnshire. Loads of potential for the buyer to add value to it and put their own stamp on it and completely transform it.